Okay. So, Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. And today, me and Margaret will be presenting the issue that happened between Petronas and South Sudan. First of all, my name is Ainun Najana Jiha. So, before jumping to the issue, we're gonna look at the background of the Malaysia Oil and Gas Company, which is Petronas. Okay. So Petronas is fully oil and gas company that was founded 50 years ago on 17 August 1974 during the global energy crisis of the 1970s. And Petronas' first successful international upstream venture was in Vietnam, and since then it has operated in more than 20 countries. And also, one of the Petronas' first achievement is the success of signing its maiden production sharing contract in 1976, which is 2 years after it was founded. So Petronas also had contributed more than 800 billion ringgit to the government in the form of dividends, royalties, duties, and also taxes. And lastly, the name Petronas is very popular within the Formula One community, as it is the one of the top three sponsors since they entered the sport in 1995. So next, we're going to move on to the issue that happened between Petronas and South Sudan. Okay. So Petronas has been operating in South Sudan since the 1990s, which is more than 20 years ago. However, in 2022, Petronas decided to sell South Sudan Oil and Gas Company to Savannah Energy, which is a British company, for $1.25 billion. However, in 2034, the deal suddenly failed as South Sudan rejected and blocked the deal between Petronas and Savannah, as South Sudan mentioned that the oil and gas asset is their country asset, not anyone else's asset. So because of that, on 7 August 2024, Petronas decided to fully withdraw its operation from South Sudan. However, Savannah and Petronas are still remain active discussion regarding the deals. So then on 26 August 2034, Petronas announced that they were going to file a lawsuit against South Sudan in the International Center for Settlement of Investment Dispute of blockage of the divestment intention of its local $1.25 billion asset that I mentioned before. But then on 4 September 2034, the Minister of Investment of South Sudan urged Petronas to clean up the environmental damages that happened because of the oil firm operation. So lastly, there is still no final decision on the issue that happened between Petronas and South Sudan, as it is still ongoing until today.
Alright, my name is Nur Iman Alia binti Shamsunaha with my metric number 2210198. So now let's take a look at the communication issues between Petronas and South Sudan. Firstly, there were lack of transparent communication between the two parties. South Sudan blocked the sale of Petronas assets without clearly explaining the legal basis behind its decision. This created confusion not only to Petronas and Savannah Energy, but also for external observers and investors. This situation escalated when South Sudan abruptly seized Petronas building and assets in Juba without prior notice or transparent legal proceedings. It was conducted without due process or engagement with relevant parties. It violated established international business norms, and it signaled a disregard for investors' protections. Therefore, this lack of communication and due process sent a negative signal to the international investment community, portraying South Sudan as a high risk environment. Hence, this lack of transparency directly undermined Petronas' ability to protect its interests, resulting in financial loss and reputational harm. Moreover, the conflict worsened due to Petronas' decision to maintain a low public profile throughout the crisis. Despite being a globally respected oil and gas company, Petronas released minimal information to the media and refrained from engaging actively with stakeholders, diplomatic channels, and the public. This passive action allowed confusion, misinformation, and speculation to spread unchecked. By not communicating its concerns, Petronas failed to assert control over the narrative and allowed South Sudan to shape public perception alone. Additionally, the delay in initiating public legal action and the absence of a strong crisis communication strategy significantly weakened investors' confidence and raised doubts about the company's ability to manage geopolitical risks. In high-profile international crises, public perception and diplomatic engagement are two crucial elements in gaining support and applying pressure for a fair resolution. Therefore, Petronas' weak communication strategy not only diminished stakeholders' trust, but also weakened its credibility and strategic position, and automatically reducing its ability to mobilize timely support or influence the outcome in its favor. Next presenter, please.
Thank you. So my name is Siti Nur Asma Hafiza binti Muhammad Zukri with metric number 2214060, and I will continue the presentation to the next part, which is the cultural management approach. So here they can use Hofstede's cultural dimension, which is power distance. So what is power distance? It refers to the extent to which less powerful members of a society accept that power is distributed unequally. In high power distant cultures, people are more comfortable with hierarchy and less likely to question authority. Let's look at Sudan. Here, power distance is quite high. Employees typically expect clear hierarchies and they may avoid challenging or questioning their superiors even when they disagree. Now, how does this compare with Malaysia, where Petronas is based? Malaysia also scores high on power distance. However, Petronas uses a more modern and collaborative management style. Managers often encourage respectful feedback and teamwork is emphasized, even within the hierarchy. So, what happens when a Malaysian company like Petronas enters the Sudanese business environment? Petronas needs to adjust its approach to better suit Sudanese cultural expectation. So, here are some practical communication tips. So first, they can use formal communication style when addressing employees. Second, they have to provide anonymous feedback channels so employees feel safe to share concerns. Thirdly, they have to train managers to understand local expectations. And it's still building trust and inviting respectful influence. This adjustment help reduce misunderstandings and create a smoother, more respectful working environment. And in summary, by applying Hofstede framework, companies like Petronas can navigate cultural differences more effectively. Lastly, understanding power distance helps build stronger relationships, improve trust, and leads to more successful international operations. I will pass to the next presenter.
Thank you, Asma. My name is Nur Adisa Maisara binti Muhammad Nizam, and I will now explain the impacts and consequences that this incident has had, which includes the regional instability on Malaysia's economy and violation of trust and legal agreement. So first and foremost, for regional instability on Malaysia's economy, it can be seen that this incident has a profound impact on the Malaysia's economy. So, since Malaysia is highly reliant on international trade to sustain its economy, particularly for goods, energy, and raw materials, the withdrawal from the country will give an impact to the economy as well. As one of Malaysia's most significant foreign investment is through Petronas, which holds like a 30% stake in the Greater Nile Petroleum Operating Company, GNPOC, in Sudan. And this investment was not only critical for strengthening Malaysia's presence in the African oil market, but also for ensuring the long-term returns in the energy sector. However, since 2022, the ongoing conflict and political instability have been seen to interrupt the operations of oil production in the region. And as a result, Malaysia has faced increased trade costs and delays in the supply of goods and energy, which in turn strain national economic performance and energy security. So, as a nation dependent on steady imports of energy and materials, such delays and supplies chain interruptions can strain Malaysia's economic stability, as it can increase the fuel prices and reducing the investors' confidence in the country, on the country. And so, for the second impact and consequences, which is the violation of trust and legal agreements, in which is the seizure of the Petronas assets by Sudan being done without a clear and transparent legal process that represents a serious violations of trust and established contractual agreements. So this action not only broke the ethical principle of honoring commitments, but also neglecting the principle of respecting foreign investment protections, which is fundamental for maintaining fair and predictable international business relationships. And so this action, which in this case is the seizure of Petronas assets by Sudan without a clear and transparent legal process, can deter the many multinational companies from investing in developing countries such as Sudan, especially where the rule of law is weak or inconsistently applied in the country. So although Petronas cited financial losses and a lack of return on investment (ROI) as key reasons for its withdrawal from the country, the unilateral asset seizure by Sudan has been seen to be significantly harming the diplomatic and business relations between the two nations, and especially since they gained their independence, the incident has not only damaged bilateral trust but also raised concerns among other international investors about the risk of engaging in volatile regions. I'll pass to next presenter.
Alright, so I am Farah Izurin with my metric number 2214128. So now I'm going to share a few recommendations that Petronas can consider to improve their international operations and avoid similar issues in the future. So first, improve investment screening. The recommendation here is for Petronas to be more careful before investing in other countries. They should study the local laws, a political situation, and any possible risks. By doing this, they can avoid problems like what happened in Sudan. This also reflects the Islamic values like trust, justice, as we are taught to make decisions that are fair and wise. Second, to strengthen government communication. Petronas should set up a special team that focuses on regular communication with foreign governments. This can help prevent misunderstandings and reduce the risk of future conflicts. It also supports strong international relationships and reflects Islamic teachings that encourage respectful and peaceful dialogue. Third is to ensure transparent public communication. Petronas should always provide honest and clear updates to the public, actually. This helps to build trust and protect the company's good reputation. Being open and truthful is not just about important in business, but it's also strongly emphasized in Islam. And lastly, to promote peaceful conflict resolution. Petronas should continue using legal methods like arbitration to resolve this dispute. They can also consider peaceful alternatives like mediation or negotiation through international bodies such as the International Chamber of Commerce, ICC, or the International Center for Settlement of Investment Dispute, ICSID. These organizations help settle disputes fairly without going to court. This recommendation also aligns with Islamic values such as wisdom, patience, and also reconciliation. So, with those recommendations, we believe Petronas can better navigate future international business challenges with both strategic foresight and ethical responsibility. So, to conclude, this case has shown us the critical role of clear communication and cultural understanding in global operations. Okay, so before we end our presentations, here is the list of the references we have used to support our research and analysis. All right, thank you.